All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story, Hadi Choopan. The latest physique update from Hadi Choopan. This was posted by his friend Parsifar Mahdi. Now, his friend here, he posts a lot of recent updates of Hadi. All of the most recent workouts and posing videos that we've seen of Hadi have been on this page. Now, this most recent update, you get kind of a most muscular. You see what kind of shape he's in. You see how his legs are looking. And Hadi is looking to be in tremendous shape. Every time I've seen an update from Hadi Choopan, I dare say I've never seen him look out of shape. I've never seen him look fat. I've never seen him look bloated. I've never really even seen him look watery. And the caption here is a little bit rough to translate, but it translates to the rank of Hadi's champion in this year's Master, in your opinion. So I guess they're asking, where do you think Hadi will place in this year's Mr. Olympia? As you guys know, Hadi is qualified. It says the Masters list was closed yesterday, and now you can make your own opinion easier. How do you appreciate the next Mr. Olympia? So they're predicting that Hadi's going to win, and I really don't necessarily see that as an unrealistic possibility. Hadi is a very impressive bodybuilder. He is on the list, and I'm looking forward to his Olympia appearance this year more than a lot of the names on that list. I think Hadi is really one of the most dangerous guys in this lineup from a conditioning standpoint. Very complete, very crazy. He looks very dry, very vascular in this update, and I think we're going to see a very good version of Hadi at this year's Mr. Olympia, and that's definitely something we have to look forward to. Now, speaking of the Mr. Olympia, the IFBB just posted today. You guys probably saw my video. They posted a post announcing that they were offering a special invitation to Big Ramy to compete due to the fact that he was not able to qualify due to some extenuating circumstances that prevented him from competing in the Europa Spain, prevented him from competing in the Arnold Classic Australia. And then shortly after they posted that invitation, his name was officially added to the 2020 Mr. Olympia list of qualified athletes. If you look at the new list now, you've got William Bonac, Rafael Brandao, Max Charles, Hadi Choopan, Brandon Curry, Nathan Diasha, and right there you have Mamdo Elsbaye, a.k.a. Big Ramy, Regan Grimes, Phil Heath, James Hollingshead, Dexter Jackson, Hunter Labrada, Sung Chul Lee, Cedric McMillan, Juan Morel, Lucas Osadil, Justin Rodriguez, Antoine Vaillant, Ian Valle, Akeem Williams, and, of course, Rolly the Beast Winkler. So that right there is quite the impressive qualified competitors list. So we have a really deep Olympia to look forward to. And, of course, when you are offered a special invite to the Olympia, you do have to accept that invitation. So shortly after they made this post, Big Ramy put up a post officially accepting the invitation to compete at the Olympia. Now, I know in years past, and this is why I want to talk about this in a video, last year it was kind of teased that Big Ramy might be getting a special invite to last year's Mr. Olympia. And Big Ramy said on record he didn't want one. He wanted to qualify through the legitimate process and the legitimate means. And again, that was Ramy's intention this year. He tried to compete at the Arnold Australia. He tried to compete at the Europa Spain. And he did actually compete at the Arnold Classic Ohio, and he did place top 3. So let's not forget that he did compete this year. It's not like he sat back and did nothing and just got this special invitation for no reason. He was actively trying to qualify through the correct process. Now, he says in this post, I want to thank the IFBB Pro League, Mr. Jim Mannion and his whole team, and Mr. Jake Wood from Wings of Strength, and Mr. Dan Solomon for offering me the chance to participate in the 2020 Mr. Olympia. I'm very thankful to them. We all had an awful year, and I did my best to fly to the Arnold Sports Festival Australia, but the lockdown didn't allow the show to happen. Then I stayed for 4 months in Dubai, stranded away from my family, but I never stopped training and hoping for the best. I managed to prep for the NPC European show, where I couldn't participate after getting the positive test. But thanks to God Almighty, let's forget about all that name for a brighter future for everyone. I'm happy and I'm very excited to officially accept this invitation. Olympia, I'm coming. Let's battle it with the best bodybuilders of the planet and represent my country, Egypt, and all Egyptians and all my fans from everywhere. Let's bring the fire to the Planet Hollywood Resort, to the Vegas Strip. December 17th through the 20th, I want all my fans to support the new edition of the Mr. Olympia, brought to you by Jake Wood, Dan Solomon, and the IFBB. So there you guys have it, all in one day. You get quite a bit of news. You got the offer to Big Ramy of the special invitation. You've got the acceptance of Big Ramy of the special invitation. And then, of course, after that, you've got the fallout, the reaction, the opinions to the special invitation. Now, specifically, a lot of pros do have an issue with Big Ramy getting the special invitation. Now, I just wanted to give you guys one example of a pro that I do respect that gave his opinion. Patrick Moore, he's been very outspoken against Big Ramy, or anybody for that matter, receiving a special invitation. So I wanted to get to that in the next part of this story, and then we'll address it. So Patrick Moore says this in a recent post: I come from a highly competitive background, boxing and basketball. My whole life has revolved around me earning my way every step. A lot of people won't understand why I'm so confident all the time. Well, I've never met a goal that I didn't reach, ever. With time and work, I've always accomplished it. I'm out of this year's Mr. Olympia because I didn't earn my spot. I didn't win, and I didn't get enough points, period. In a world full of entitlement and handouts, society is way too comfortable with expecting what isn't earned. I'll take a loss any day of the week when it means I wasn't good enough, but that also means I have to work and therefore having a goal to chase. What makes this sport great is having to bust your ass in the gym to earn your spot on stage. This was over a year ago, and I gained some notoriety in bodybuilding after some time off. I'll be back to earn my spot on stage again. Have a good week, everyone, and go get what's yours. Now, this was clearly a subtle response to Ramy in the special invite situation. He doesn't directly address Ramy in this post, but he does go on record in some comment sections directly addressing Ramy, and I believe he's going to be on, or he was on, RX Muscle's channel speaking against the Big Ramy invitation. Now, this brings up an interesting debate. The biggest debate that I've seen on YouTube in a while in the bodybuilding community is whether or not Big Ramy deserved the special invitation to the Olympia. Now, there's a lot of people saying he didn't, on the basis that he did not qualify through the legitimate means, like following the rules of the IFBB. Now, it is important to note that the IFBB does reserve the right to issue a special invitation to anyone that they want any year at the Olympia, and this has been something that has been true for maybe 3-4 decades in the IFBB. This has been a rule, so this is in the rule book. The special invitation, it's not something brand new. It's not something they invented for Ramy. So I think a lot of people are outspoken about this and mad about this, and they're directing a lot of that anger in the direction of Big Ramy because he's such a big name, and really, no pun intended, he's a big target for this. So first of all, I just wanted to point that out, that the IFBB can do what they want. It's in the rule book, so it's really nothing new. And I hate to keep going back to this example, but I think it's a great example. Flex Lewis, when they announced that Flex Lewis was in the men's open bodybuilding lineup for this year's Mr. Olympia, everybody was excited. Nobody, I didn't see a single person question that decision. And again, Flex Lewis was a special invitation. He did not have to compete in a men's open bodybuilding show to qualify for the Olympia, although if you went by the rules, that's technically what he should have done. But because he won the 212 Olympia so many times, they offered him a special invitation based on his success in the other division. Now, even if he had won the 212 Olympia, technically, if you go by the rule book, he would still have to cross over to men's bodybuilding and win or qualify on points a men's open show to get to the Olympia. But to be fair, I didn't see anybody take an issue with Flex Lewis. Now, last year, Cedric McMillan got the special invitation, and to be fair, I did see a lot of people that were very critical of that. Obviously, Cedric, he's in the military, and due to his military obligations, he was not able to qualify, and he was given a special invitation. And while I did see a little bit of backlash to that decision, it wasn't nearly to the degree that Big Ramy seems to be getting. Let's not forget that just as recently as 2016, Kevin Levrone was offered a special invitation to the Olympia, and he's been retired. He hadn't competed for 10 plus years, over a decade, and they just gave him a special invitation just because it would be fun. They didn't really even need any type of reason. Kevin hadn't competed recently. He didn't have trouble competing. They just wanted him at the Olympia and gave him a special invitation, and they reserved the right to do that. And again, I don't remember a whole lot of people being overwhelmingly complaining about that. And then, of course, you've got Kai Green. Kai Green was offered a special invitation, I believe more than once, after he left the Olympia in 2014, after all that drama went down between him and Phil and him and the promoters, or whatever the case was. When all that went down, Kai chose to leave the Olympia. He chose not to come back. He chose not to try to qualify again. And they still offered him a special invitation to come back and compete. And again, that's something they reserve the right to do. It's not up for debate, that part. They can do whatever they want as far as special invitations are concerned. So whether you're okay with them or not okay with some of them, if you're trying to make the argument that it's not by the rules, it is by the rules. That is a way that you can get to the Olympia, special invitation right there in the rule book. It is one of the ways that you get there, and that's how Ramy's getting there. Now, I do see the argument that there's a lot of athletes that struggled with things that were trying to get to the Olympia this year, and for whatever reason, whatever hardships they faced this year, they didn't get there, and none of them got a special invitation, whether it was in men's open bodybuilding or different categories or whatever it was. There was a lot of that besides Big Ramy, so people feel like Big Ramy is getting special treatment, and maybe he is. But let's be honest, Big Ramy is not just your average regular bodybuilder. Big Ramy is one of the best bodybuilders in the world, hands down. He's in the top 10. He's one of the 10 best bodybuilders on the planet at the Olympia. They want the best bodybuilders in the world to compete for the title. Big Ramy was trying to qualify. He couldn't. And he's one of the best bodybuilders in the world. They want him on that stage. It's not the same as somebody who is a top 20, top 30 guy in the world. Big Ramy is top 10, cream of the crop. Whether people or other bodybuilders want to admit that or not, Big Ramy is in another category than just a regular pro. And that's just the fact of the matter. He's been a runner-up at the Olympia. He's won major titles. He is 50 pounds heavier than some guys competing on stage. He is one of the biggest bodybuilders of all time. He has consistently placed within the top 10 at the Olympia, never placed outside of the top 8. So whether people want to admit it or not, Big Ramy is in a league of his own. So when it comes to who deserves a special invite or who should get one, I think Big Ramy's name is definitely in that conversation, just like Flex Lewis's was. Flex Lewis certainly was deserving of a special invitation, and I think Big Ramy is kind of on that same caliber. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I know this is a polarizing topic, but definitely drop a comment down below and let me know where you guys stand on the Big Ramy special invitation situation. Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, another physique update from Calum Von Moger, and this was a pretty explosive one. A lot of people really saw a lot more potential in Calum when they saw this update. He looks really dense. He looks really big. And again, some of the shots that he posted, his upper body didn't really look as big. He looked like he was downsized quite a bit. Obviously, he had the arm injury. He had the 2 leg injuries, which are going to be the more severe of the many injuries that he sustained. But he looks really impressive in this particular update. This most muscular here, he doesn't look that downsized. He looks like he's got plenty of size in this particular picture. So this one kind of shook up the industry a tad. And in addition to that, there were also 2 photos that he posted training with none other than your 2-time Classic Physique Mr. Olympia champ, Breon Ansley. And I think he makes Breon look really small in these pictures. Now, granted, Calum is a pretty tall dude. He's much taller than Breon. But in some of these shots, even just from the angles from the side, he looks thicker than Breon in some of the shots. But again, it could just be some of the illusion. When it comes to that front double bicep shot, there's really no question that Breon is far superior to Calum. And Calum might have a long way to go as far as what he needs to do from a development standpoint to actually turn pro and then get to the Olympia and do well at the Classic Physique Olympia, because there's no way he's beating Breon, which should go without saying because Breon is a Mr. Olympia and Calum is not even a pro in Classic. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed yet already. Right now, we are 22,000 subscribers away from that 1 million, so make sure you subscribe. Every single subscriber counts. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.